Are you happy with where Barry ends up at the end of the series?
I am. When I thought about it ending, there was a theory out there that Barry would sacrifice himself.
Yo, what is going on, guys? Flashverse here, and welcome back to another video on The Flash Season 9. So yeah, obviously, as we know, the Flashcast have wrapped up filming completely for their show. They have finished all 13 episodes, whereas us, the fans, we are not there yet. We are 8 episodes into the season, and aside from all the disappointment we have faced so far, there's a lot to look forward to in the next coming episodes. Obviously, in the next couple of weeks, we're going to be getting Oliver Queen's return. We're going to be getting that big episode with Kid Flash, Bloodwork, Diggle, and Oliver Queen all returning, and that is something that I am really looking forward to. But also, after that, we will be starting the Cobalt Blue arc, so we'll be getting Cobalt Blue as our main villain alongside other villain speedsters that we've all wanted to see. All of that will be in the final graphic novel of the show ever, so there's a lot to look forward to. And also, it is the last few episodes of the show ever as well, so that's when the emotions will be kicking in especially. But yeah, since the Flashcast and all are pretty much free now, we had Gustin, who is our main character, obviously Barry Allen aka The Flash, going around doing an interview. This is with TV Line, and they've pretty much picked out some like fan questions for Gustin to answer, and there are some couple of interesting things he does mention. Obviously, he does talk about things like what he took from set, some changed things that they've done for the Flash show in general, and also he does tease the ending for the show as a whole as well. So yeah, it's very interesting, and yeah, we'll just get straight into it. So the first thing Gustin was asked was what he took from set, and he does mention that it was the Flash ring. Now, this isn't really that surprising, to be completely honest. That was the thing I would have expected him to take other than the suit, but I'm pretty sure he's not allowed to take the suit or something along those lines, because, well, if he was able to take the suit, I'm pretty sure he would have taken that instead of the Flash ring. And I'm pretty sure they do put like the suits on for like display or something like that. And I believe the same goes for like Stephen Amell. I'm pretty sure that he took the bow instead of the suit as well. If he wasn't able to keep like the whole suit in general, I am quite surprised about like why he didn't take like a suit from the earlier seasons, and I'm pretty sure that would have been like less trouble for Grant. But yeah, it does kind of make sense that he did take the Flash ring, as it is kind of like a small prop that he just takes home instead of like a big ass suit as well. So like the ring would have been a bit more memorable in a way, so that does make sense in that way. Now the next question was Gustin being asked why he didn't dye his hair blonde for the Flash. So it was, Mr. Gustin, were you not interested in making your hair color blonde for the Flash? And I will play the clip in regards to what Gustin had to say about this.
I was actually. I pitched to Greg before the pilot that we should do that, and he was like, "You'll hate yourself for saying that to me. You'll lose hair. The upkeep is going to be annoying. You're going to be a brunette." And I was like, "All right, whatever."
Now, I do completely agree with Greg Berlanti's opinion over here. Obviously, Grant was down to go for the blonde hair for Barry, which obviously would have made him look more comic book accurate. It would have been really cool to see as well, but I can't lie, I do agree with Greg Berlanti over here, like dyeing Grant's hair blonde pretty much weekly, because like, as his hair grows, obviously shades of brunette are going to come out, so dyeing his hair would have been like a lot of commitment, like a lot of hair would have fallen out on all of that, and for him being like having to do this for multiple seasons, it would have been a hassle, and it would have been very damaging. So it was a good idea that they just kept him as he is with the brunette color. Obviously with like Melissa Benoist, it would be something different because she has long hair. It wouldn't really be that affecting that as it would be for Grant, because obviously it's shorter hair, so he's going to have to dye a lot more than like, let's say, Melissa would have for Supergirl. Now, next up, Gustin was asked what his favorite crossover to film was, and this is what he had to say in regards to that.
Either the Elseworlds, where like we switched bodies, Steven and I, or we didn't switch bodies. We
Sure, Steven wouldn't say that.
Psyches, yeah, because he had to wear my suit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice outfit. And I honestly forget this was a crossover, but the musical episode.
Now, from an actor's standpoint, this does make sense because these two crossovers would have surely been a lot of fun to do. Obviously, with the Elseworlds crossover, like he gets to become Green Arrow, Stephen Amell gets to become the Flash. I am sure that would have been a lot of fun to do, and you know he would have been able to do like scenes that he's never got to do before, such as like you have failed the city, for example, or just beat up criminals normally without having to like wear the suit going around the super speed, something like that. So like I'm sure this would have been really fun, like Grant just playing another superhero pretty much due to the Elseworlds thing happening. So in that context, I do understand why he would say like that was his favorite crossover to film, and the same for the musical episode as well, although that is not my favorite crossover at all. In fact, it's my least favorite. In like Grant's standpoint, it does make a lot of sense because for those who don't know, Grant Gustin is like a very musically invested guy. Like he's very, very into music and all those sorts of stuff. So in that context for Grant, it does make a lot of sense. And same for Melissa as well. She's like a very music-centric actress as well. So having both of them doing a musical episode together on a superhero show, it would make sense why Grant would have like, you know, enjoyed those two crossovers and why those would have stood out the most. Now, the next one is quite interesting. And the next question was, what was the last day of filming with Candace Patton like? And now in this part of the interview, they pretty much like bleeped the whole thing, as Grant was obviously talking about spoilers. I'm pretty sure these were spoilers which he was able to say to like the guy who was interviewing him, because maybe the guy who was interviewing him has seen the episode already. But obviously for us, it would have been a spoiler at that time. So I'm guessing that's why it was blurred out, or maybe Grant Gustin said things that he wasn't supposed to say, and then they just asked whoever is publishing this to like cut that section out or something like that, or just blur it out. It's one of those reasons in my opinion. But the reason why it was bleeped out is obviously A, because it would be spoilers, and B, it does pretty much link with the ending, or what we could assume that is going to be the ending for the show, and that was with like the big all of the cast in one room. I'm pretty sure in Barry and Iris's apartment, but you'd have like returning characters as well as all of Team Flash being there as well, and like that would be like a very emotional scene. Obviously we don't know the context of the scene in general, but I am pretty damn sure one of the behind the scene photos they've released, and I'm pretty sure it's deleted, or maybe it's still up, but I wouldn't have found it in to put in this video. But there's a behind the scene image with like all of the cast members on set with returning characters that I'm not going to mention. And yeah, they're all in one room, and I'm pretty sure that's the scene Grant Gustin is talking about. However, I could be very, very wrong about this. And yeah, in the context of Candace Patton, he does obviously talk about how she was just in an emotional wreck, and she did wrap up a day before Grant. And obviously you would be emotional, as this is like the very, very last day you'll be working with these people as well. But this last question, it's very, very interesting. I do want to talk about it. So Grant Gustin is asked, are you happy with where Barry ends up at the end of the series? And this is what he had to say in regards to that.
When I thought about it ending, there was a theory out there that Barry would sacrifice himself to keep the Speed Force alive and become the lightning bolt that inevitably struck him and create this full circle moment.
Okay.
Which I thought was really cool.
Yeah.
And I always kind of wanted him to die a hero's death in a way. And Eric was very opposed to the idea and really wanted to see a happy ending for Barry and Iris. And ultimately, I think that is probably, looking back at this and as fans revisit it, probably how they're going to want it to end.
So obviously this has been an ongoing theory for many, many years, and I'm sure this was the ending a bunch of people wanted to see for The Flash. Like whoever you'd ask, like what would you want to see in the ending of The Flash, this would be the ideal ending for them, where Barry becomes the lightning bolt that strikes him. That's been the ending so many people have theorized about, so many people have wanted to see. And it would create a full circle moment, as Grant said. It would be pretty cool to see. But I am happy they didn't go for that. I am very, very against them like killing off their main characters. Like in the context of Oliver Queen, it did work because it's like a big crisis event. But just to like wrap up your show, killing off your main character isn't really the best thing to do. And to be completely honest, it wouldn't really make too much sense as well, because we know Barry is still around in the future as the Flash. So I'm glad that they stuck with another ending in which Eric Wallace didn't know that people wanted like the lightning bolt that strikes him ending anyways. Like Eric Wallace was against the idea of killing the main character. Like he wants to just leave it as an open ending, which in my opinion is the best way to go to. Just you know, leave it in the open, like wrap up the show, but have all of these characters still continuing. So Barry is still the Flash, just off screen. So I would very much rather prefer something like that. And thank God that was the ending that they went for. Obviously, it would be a happier ending as well, although it would be very, very emotional at the same time, because this would be the very last episode of the show. But I was one of the people that was always against the idea of killing off your main character in your very last episode. Like, if it was like a big event like what they did with Arrow, sure, fair enough, that does make sense. But also the fact that we, as I said, know that Barry is still around in the future, the more open, happier ending makes much more sense in my opinion. In regards to what that ending is, as I said, it has something to do with like a bunch of Team Flash members all in one room with returning characters as well. And I'm pretty sure maybe that's when Nora West Allen becomes born as well. That I could see something like that happening. Other than that, you know, having them like, you know, going back to the night of Nora Allen's murder, things like that, I think they're going to save that for whenever Matt Letcher returns. So that's going to be either episode 10 or 11 as far as I'm aware. I'm pretty sure that's going to be in one of those episodes, but for like the Cobalt Blue arc as a whole, I don't think that we're going to be going back to the night of Nora Allen's murder. I think they're just going to wrap up the Cobalt Blue arc, have all of our speedster villains returning, and then have like an open, happy ending with that as well. But yeah guys, thanks for watching. If you guys have enjoyed the video, please give a like and subscribe. Be sure to let me know in the comment section down below what you guys found most interesting about this interview. I'm interested to see all of your thoughts towards all of this as well. And yeah, I will see you guys in my next video.